I don't know. Well, I can't say I don't know what happened. I do know what happened, which sucks. And I forgot, and I forget sometimes to do it. To put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And so I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Let's see. And I had 2 phone calls. And it knocked it out the one time. And then I was able to fix it. But then I was not able to fix it the second time. So thank you guys for your patience. Yeah, and it's so I'll just sum it up like really, really quickly. It's riding season, obviously, and it's so crazy because May is motorcycle safety and motorcycle awareness month. For whatever reason, someone did not tell the deer that it was motorcycle safety month in May, motorcycle awareness. They just did what they wanted to do. It was so crazy. Can you hear me now?
Good.
You know what happened?
What it was?
I always forget to put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Oh.
And so, like, if you get a phone call, it'll ring, but you can like swipe up to make it go away, but then it mutes you because I guess it ringing takes your microphone away. You know what I mean?
Will it let you unmute yourself, or you just have to do the do
So
not
the
disturb?
first time it did let me unmute myself, but then the second time it didn't. I was like, no, both these jokers know I do motorcycle Mondays, and they gonna call anyway. One was my kid talking about, can you go to the store and get some snacks? Can you bring some snacks home? No, I'm not bringing no snacks home. We just went to the store, and I told you get all the snacks that you wanted. Then ain't gonna get it, so I'm not getting no snacks. But I was just laughing really because May was Motorcycle Awareness Month, like it was Motorcycle Safety Month, and somehow or another, nobody told the deer. Nobody told them that it was motorcycle.
They didn't get the memo.
They did not get the memo at all. So I don't know why they didn't get it. But what I was trying to say is, despite the issues that I'm having with Baby Shark, Harleys are built, man. Harleys are like, everybody want to joke and laugh and stuff. I've hit 3 deer. Now, the first one I hit on a street light, and they did wind up totaling it out. However, when I picked that sucker up and I stood it up, I said, if this bike starts, I'm riding it. And as soon as I picked it up and sat there, it was like rum, bum, 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 bum. I was like, oh, we're going. The other one was like, I didn't go down. It was like a nip, because I did what you did, went around the back, because it was running. It was like running past, and I don't know why they started to slow down, and I just nipped it. So like that was good. This last one was a total spark, like you said, and flying. Yeah. And like, despite the fender, which was there a lot of hair on your bike? I had deer hair, and it had snot. Like, so the bearing hit. Like, because I guess he might have been like, duck down too. Like, there was just slimy sludge up the one side, but there was buku hair all over the lights, all over the forks, all over. There was just deer hair everywhere, like in the thing. It was just like, oh my goodness.
I literally had a little patch. That's all I had, a little patch. And I guess the impact was the fender in the front, which is why it smashed down that way. Yep. But that Harley was built like a Ford, tough, man. It was just it. And I rode it like I was 200 miles, like 250 miles away from home. I still had 900 miles to go to get to Oklahoma. And the rest of my barbecue ride. And the rest of the Tour of Honor and the Mountain Monsters. And I was just like, we got to get it done.
This bike rolling.
He said, everybody's counting on me. I gotta go. You know,
I was like, I gotta go. I was like, I can. I was like, I wanna I want to keep going. And your route was 750 miles back home.
Yeah.
So you never even, so you got to the next town, but you never went to the safety course?
Because it started at 9. And at that point, I was about 250, miles away. And I got to the next town at about, I'll say 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
And now it pushed the arrival time to like 2:30. So
the class would have been virtually over.
Or no, it pushed it to 4:30. And then, check in, maybe sleep for just a little bit and then start at 9. So I just said, forget it. Just
now, were you registered? And you know what the irony is? Again, May, Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month. You are trying to get to a motorcycle crash scene safety course.
Yeah.
And you crash and don't get there. Did you register for that? Are you going to be able to take it again? Is it offered again? Did they refund you? Did you talk to anybody?
No, I did. I let him know the next morning, though. Like, hey, I'm not going to make it. And the organizer for it, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I think for the North, they are done with classes because it's now motorcycle season for them. And I could probably do it in the South. So I'm just going to look like Arizona. They did do one early May during, I think it was either the Jax all female ride or the Houston all female ride. They had one in Texas.
Okay.
So I'll just see. I'll just have to see. So I was trying to take my level 2, which would allow me to be a road guardian and actually assist EMTs with bystander assistance training. Okay. And so anywho, I was just like, well, I guess I don't need it. I did my accident scene training today.
I did my accident scene training. I was the teacher. I was the victim. Student. I was the example. I was everything that I needed to be, which is why you can just certify me because I got myself out the way. I fixed the bike. I called the people.
Yes. I had no issues going home. I mean, that bike ran smooth. There was no noise. There was no rattling. My front fender is like bent a smidge. I could tell it's a few degrees pointing to the left. But I mean,
and your handlebars,
just a smidge. It's just a smidge off, and I can see it when I'm like sitting, in the seat, looking at it. And then, of course, the crash guards are just, those are like a little mangled. But
that's
everything
shifted.
I did feel like my throttle was sticking just a hair too because of whatever was going on. But I mean, that sucker just ran. Yep.
I didn't have front brakes at all.
Wow.
So I don't know if the fender pinched my line or something, or maybe when it went down and I was like, because I was holding everything in. Because like I said, I started to downshift. Or even when it started to slide, it engaged the brake. And when I slid down the highway, it was engaged all that time. Something with the master cylinder, something had like a piston or something broken there, and it was just like not bleeding through the line. And so it's so crazy. Like the rest of the ride, when I got to like my last barbecue place, there was a man. He was a 6th generation removed Davy Crockett.
Oh my goodness!
And he saw. I know it was the coolest thing, and he kind of looked like him in the face. I'm like, did you ever see the real Davy Crockett, or like? Were they just like pictures of it because it was like so far up? But he saw the fender strap down to the luggage, and he was like, "What's that about?" Like, you know what I mean? And I told him what happened. He was like, "Man," and then he told me all the things he had. He was like, "You need me to look at anything like before you get on the road?" And I was like, "You're a mechanic, like you fix it." Like, I could do all of that. So we went to like O'Reilly's, and I told him like, I don't have a front brake. Like when I pull it in, there's nothing. Like the bike is still just rolling. So if I don't hit the back brake, I don't see anything. Like, then I was like, I pump it. Then it'll like kind of engage a little bit. He's like, well, maybe it just needs the line bled. And so we like did all of that. Like we bled it, and it was okay a little bit, but it kept like feeding. He did both of them. And ultimately, that's why we were at Harley so long, because I had to get the master cylinder changed, because there was something inside there that wasn't allowing it to flow and like to keep that weight. But so for the 900 miles in front, and I use my back brake more anyway, but it's just being on hills. I can't balance the bike, trying to head that up and just sit there and all that. I don't like it. I didn't like it one bit. Even like going down, I didn't like it. I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. And I just really needed to get it fixed. But other than that, that bike ran.
Yeah, it
like ran. I went all the way there. I tore honor coming home. Like it was just as if nothing happened. It was just more, I guess, cosmetic. You know what I mean? And I was just like,
yeah.
So when you were going, because your handlebars and your fender was a little changed, did you feel like you had to compensate for it being crooked? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no.
So you know, normally like how you do with the one hand, so you weren't, if it was bit to the left, you weren't pulling to the right. Like you didn't have to.
It was just like, you know how like they're centered? It was just like a hair, you know. And no, it ran smooth. Braking was cool. Yeah, I mean, I it was like so uneventful. Okay, so uneventful. I checked to see if there was any leaks anytime I stopped. I mean, I had a dent in the gas tank. There was some blood there. There was some tissue of some sort, like maybe like tendons or something that had smushed onto the tank. So it's like a nice little, just like a little concave in there. Some hair by the headlight and where the accessory like riding lights were. So like all of those had ripped off, you know. But no crack in the headlight. I can't believe it. I had full function of bright lights, you know. Yeah, it was really a miracle, honestly. I mean, at that speed, hitting a gear, it was a miracle.
And so people have asked, like, are you going to stop riding now? And it's like,
no,
I don't know how to necessarily, I know how to respond because I know I'm not going to, but then when something like that happens, because again, this is my third deer I hit.
Yeah.
Second, like, kind of majorish one. It's like, and everybody's like, gosh, trying to tell you something, trying to tell you something. I'm like, is he trying to say something? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is he trying to say something, or is he just like, pay attention, or like just, I mean, because again, we're in nature, like we're, even though like they're highways and byways and obviously they're meant for vehicles, that's still where they live, like, you know what I mean, we're in their house, like, you know what I mean. And now you I mean, but even 8:30, 9 o'clock, like you said, it was getting dusky, like it was kind of getting like dark, and it's a desolate road. The weather was like that nice dewy type
it
thing,
was
like,
so perfect.
And that's what I'm saying. So it was probably perfect for them too.
Yeah,
like,
that's probably the time they get up,
and they're going to cross over. They're like finding food and water and stuff like that. Now mine happened at, it was like 10:30, quarter to. So I can say again, hindsight, I probably did not need to be on that road that late in the dark in the rain. But it's like, if that's the route that is taking you, you know what I mean? Like, you can't help weather. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, dark is going to come. Like, like, it's not like we're like the Wicked Witch of the West, when the light comes, we're like, eh. So when the dark comes, like, we're supposed to like just retreat. And I really just started my ride. Like, I was only like, I was just
4 hours
into it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, that's. And I'll ride through the night. Like, that's my preferred time, because there's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot. Like, I think I would rather deal with an animal than like a 5-ton vehicle that's going to run me over or run me off the road, or a tractor trailer that's going to blow past me or blow. You know what I mean? Like, you're really out there freely by yourself. Like, it's refreshing. Like, again, and I usually have deer horns, so that's what I was upset about, because I given a pack of deer horns and they weren't put on. So I was like,
do they work? Do you like those? They work? They really okay.
Now
I know people use them all the time in the Midwest, like Missouri. People, you know, live and die by it, but I had never put them on. And where I live in Colorado, you really don't need it like that, and I guess unless
But
I don't know, just
so you live in Colorado.
Yeah.
You do not ride in Colorado. Yeah. You ride all over, all the time. So you, as a traveler, as a ground pounder, mileage mule, like you need all the precautions. And I only say I swear by them because the first time I hit the deer, I did not have them on there. I didn't have them on there, and I had PTSD so bad, like to the point my neck would hurt from the swivel, looking. Yeah. But I put them on the second street glide that I got, and so when I was finishing my 48 states and then going to Alaska, I'm telling you, when I crossed from Montana into Wyoming, there was like 15 of them. And I was like, ah! Like Jesus. I like shut my eyes. Jesus. But as I was getting close, like some of them were eating, some were standing there. They all like lifted their head and like looked in that direction. Then they scattered the other way. Yeah. They could hear. Yeah. And I was like, oh. Okay. And then I got like a little more confidence. And then like I'm like, hey. I would see more. I would see them like lift their head up, and then they would just go in the opposite direction. So that's why I say I believe that they really work, unless that was just God, like saying, "Girl, you done had enough trauma. I'm sure that you are right. You going?" Because I was like, please, you know I can't. Like I was like screaming and pleading, like I can't do it again. Like please. And it didn't happen. Like anywhere. Like literally, I hit that. That was in 2017 or 18. The first time. Then a little Nick was like 2020, but then the next one was 21. So that's 7 years. Like you know what I mean? Like he let me relax a little bit, but I'm telling you, when I came around that corner and it was just standing there, I was like, yeah. This is my first deer. My first deer. I've been riding 13 years now. It's my first deer. So now you know how they say all over, you know, they're always right there by the road, the highway, munching, whatever, you know, eating their whole. They're not on the road. No, this thing was standing full out. Yes, on the road, but facing the left, and yours was standing in your lane, my lane, but facing right. Yes, it was. I wonder if they like the warmth of the road too, like after a hot day and it's like, you know, radiating heat. And you know what someone said when I was talking to them about it? They said that they come out onto the road sometimes to get away from the flies and the gnats and things. Okay. Because in the forest and the foliage, obviously, like you know how we always see them like around their eyeballs and their mouth and all that stuff. I guess it's annoying to them and they can't swat it away like we can. So they come out on the road to the road where they're not, like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, and that's so crazy because even when they're by us, it's the carbon dioxide that we put out that they like. So in that area, like, but they also don't like to just be out in the open. But I mean, and that's just what somebody said. Like they may, there may be a reason, and I never really even researched it. I just know like there are definitely times of day, like early morning, like they're crossing and they're coming, and then that dusky dawn type time, and then like in the middle of the night, like there's always a possibility that Wyoming's bad. You know that you mentioned that. My first saddle sore was with Abby Spate, and she's another awesome long distance legend. She does Hoka. She's done Hoka in the past. I don't think she's doing it this year, but she's also an MSF coach. She used to be like one of my neighbors, and she moved to Nebraska with her husband, and they love old school choppers, bikers, and things like that. But she took me on my first saddle sore and my first bun burner gold, right? And on that saddle sore, we went all the way up to... No, it was the Bun Burner Gold. We went up to Webo, Montana as our midpoint and turned around. And when we're coming back down through Wyoming, you ever seen a porcupine in real life? Like a big one? Not a big one, but I have seen them. Just like armadillos. Yes. Like it's an anomaly. And I'm like, this thing was huge. Like, it was huge. And her and I mean, we're like on the tail end of the saddle sore or the Bun Burner Gold. And she barely misses it, okay, in front of her. And then I'm like
that was totally a porcupine. Like this thing was like, it seemed like it was like 3 or 4 feet big, right? Just walking across
the road,
the highway, and it's like foggy. We're coming upon a lot of fog. There's big old bucks out there lining the highway.
Wyoming is beautiful, but at night
it was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
It's crazy. We on our 48 states run, and we were in the boogeyman was out there. There were like deer, there were coyotes, there was so much stuff. Like when I tell you, my heart was beating so fast and my eyes were watered. I could not wait.
Fog is crazy. You don't really have very good judgment, and then your lights are kind of, you know, reflecting off of the fog, and we're trying to stay in tight formation.
We kept seeing like,
you know,
eyes glowing.
Everything.
We kept seeing like glowing eyes.
Yes.
So I was like, is that a werewolf? Like, is it or a wolf in general? Not a werewolf, like a wolf. Like, and to make it so bad, you know, when you do the 48 states, you don't have to go through the whole state. You just have to get a receipt in that state. So we cut the corner of Wyoming, but we had to go so deep into it to get to like a store that was open because it was like midnight.
Yes.
And when I tell you, I was like, F this. I was ready to be.
Yes.
I did. And then when we got to the gas station, like a car would come, and like, so we're trying to like call people, because at first we were like, we just got to stop for the night. Like, this is crazy. Like, my nerves are bad. The other girls were in South Dakota. They needed to come down to where we were, and they ran out of gas. Like, she had to put it was like a whole bunch of folkery. Like, it was crazy. So the man was like, I wouldn't stay anywhere around here because they abduct people. Like, don't trust the hotels. Like, they'll let you check in, but then they sell your key. I was like, girl!
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, so have you heard of the movie Wind River, Wyoming? It's based on a true story where basically Native American women were being abducted from like oil field camps and stuff. So I guess they do that.
I'm telling you, because where we were, and he said this is kind of the end. You have a little bit more town to go, but after that starts the reservation, and you're not allowed on it unless. And then, so our other sister is Native, but she was with the other sister who ran out again. And so like, you won't even. They'll do stuff like you can't even get.
And Wyoming has so many of those stretches where it's like, you know, from Green River, Wyoming to I don't know, Rawlins. It's like 100 miles.
Like,
no
the
services.
Forest and Yellowstone, like everything. Like, Wyoming is really vast.
Yes, it's huge, and there's not a lot of people. They're spread out, and there's not a lot of services. Or like you're going
small towns, and it's like 150 miles, and there's nothing. I'm like, I mean, I guess they like it that way because it's rural.
It makes it
I'm like,
hard though. It's hard to travel. I mean, unless you're like an 18-wheeler, you can make those long stretches, but you definitely have to, you know, be prepared. And, you know, so you hit a deer out there, and it's like, how long is it going to take for somebody to get you?
You hit a deer out there, it's over. Then there was a car that was kind of like playing with us. Like, it kept revving and revving, and it would come close, and then it would back up. And I'm screaming out my helmet, like, what the fuck? And then I'm like waving, like, go around, but it's pitch black. Like, you can see, like, it was my bike, then it was her bike, and then it was the car. And I put my flashers on, like, pulled over, like, I don't know what this weirdo's doing. Let him go around, and then we just followed his lights too. And then, like, he went around real slow, and I was just like, Jesus. I know Jesus was like, I'm changing my name tomorrow because what you're not going to do is wear it out on this damn trip.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my gosh. So the car went around, but then, like I said, it was so dark, and we just kept. There was definitely wildlife, and it was just all brush, and then there was like a power plant type thing.
Yes.
There was like gravel on the ground.
Oil refineries.
It was like either a warthog. You know how your lights shine off of their eyes, and it makes it glow. Like, there was shit out there. I'm trying to tell you, I was like, I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
To get, and it's so crazy because the next day we wound up staying in South Dakota. We were on like day 6, and then like once I got to the hotel and I like calmed myself down, I was ready to go. But everybody else was like exhausted, like you know what I mean. I was like, "Do y'all want to stay here a day?" Everybody was like, "Yes." And I guess I kind of needed it too, because almost being abducted, trying to it was just too much.
Just too much.
It was,
but
we ain't hit nothing. Yeah, we didn't hit anything that time, but like, I think
it's those rural, like what we had. You know, you've got a lot of vegetation, a lot of tree line, and then just it's same thing. Now the vegetation where I was at, it was like down in the pasture.
That's what you said.
Down in the pasture. So I'm glad I didn't go off the road. I think I could have been spotted because the bike automatically turns on the flashers, but it just would have been a real pain to get it out of the brush. I mean, it was some thick stuff, and it just was really brushy. You know, they could hide real easy. I mean, all of their food sources is just right there, and so
when it's down like that, they have to have momentum to come up out of it. So like it's like once they're in motion, even the deer whistles won't work once they're in motion. If they're standing still, they'll turn around and go the other way.
Do you honk your horn ever? Do you use that? Do you like your horn? Okay. I do the horn too, but I don't know if it works or not.
A lot. I was you know, like you're having low beam. I was doing that with my horn. I was like holding the hammer. Yeah. Like, I wanted that deer to move the hell out of the way. Yeah. I tell you, I was screaming at it like, no, what you gonna do? I did, and I'm flicking and I'm doing all that, but I'm downshifting too. Like it, and it's just so crazy. In that moment, you're like, you're thinking about what you should do, but at the same time, I don't know. Like in my mind, I was like, okay, I can try to avoid this. I can try to prevent it from happening. But really, I was thinking, how am I going to take this impact? What damage is it going to do? Who's going to find me? Am I going to be able to go? Like, I started thinking in that way because, like, the rate I was going, and like I said, it moved back, and then I felt better. But then as I got closer,
it tried to go.
And at that moment, it's so crazy, like how much stuff you can think
process
in like 2 seconds. I'm telling, like, it was just like brrr, as if I had like 20 minutes to sit down and really think about all of that stuff. And I was just like, I can't stand you. I was upset. I was because like sometimes I do foolish stuff riding, like, you know what I mean? And some, like, for real, like I might speed or I might like wobble in and out of cars, and not that that's even that foolish, but some stuff I think I kind of like know better, like get here now or get there later, like whatever. But I was really at that moment feeling like I was like being safe, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell, like why, like when I do craziness, nothing happens, and I'm really like I'm going somewhere for a good cause. It's a positive ride. Like I'm supporting, like, you know what I mean, something big, like I'm going for a historical moment, and you know what I mean, like everything was just right where it was supposed to be. And then this, and it's just like,
I know.
Damn. Yeah. And it does make you think, like, what did this happen for? Yeah. Like, and sometimes I feel like we process things too much, and there's really not an answer. Yeah. Like it's an act of nature. Like that's why there's collision and there's comprehensive. Yeah. And it's just like they're there, we're there. Sometimes
it just sometimes happens, you know. I don't think that it would have happened if you were in your car, you know. Like,
but then I think, like, you thought you stopped to just put your jacket on, put your gloves on, but then you start doing something else, so you spend an hour there. So had you have been there a short amount of time that you wanted to be there, that, you know what I mean, like that
I might not have hit that one, but I might have hit the one an hour further up the road.
Yeah, and it might have been worse,
or maybe not. I don't know.
And then for me, like, I wanted to get started earlier, but I didn't. I was just like moving and doing so much stuff. And I was like, damn, had I left, and I was 5 hours behind my time. I'm like, it has still been light. It would have been this. But then again, like you said, something worse may happen. So I hate that I perseverate on things sometimes. Like, I mean, I'm definitely grateful to be here, and I praise him for that. But it's in my mind, it's just like, well, what else was there?
Yeah.
Like, what did you really save me from?
Man, yeah, I'm glad. Like, we got to walk away from it. I mean, the officer did not believe it. He couldn't believe it because he said people in cars don't usually survive these things. And, you know, it didn't really hit me until like on the way home, like, wow, and you know, I made it.
And truly grateful, like, dang, like if, like, you know that you have a purpose still. Like, you know what I mean? And then now I start thinking like, well, what's my purpose? What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, how did I walk away from this? Like, what's next? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
that's our testimony though. You just go out there, you encourage other ladies, other men. You know, it's an inherent danger. We know this. There are things we can do to minimize it, right? But in the end, nature will do what nature is going to do. So I made that post because I wanted people, not to worry immediately. You know, I contacted everybody that was important at that moment. I need you guys to know I got into an accident. Don't freak out. I was like, Mom and Dad, I'm just telling you, just so you're aware. I hit up Reef and was like, hey, what do you think? He goes, well, is it writable? And I'm like, I don't think so, but
as a writer, that's the first thing we always say, because he's hit deer. Like, you know what I mean? So that was definitely a good person to call because it's relatable. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really call people who haven't experienced it because there may be that panic and like even you know what I'm saying. So
I think
that was definitely
long distance community, like what you're saying, they really understand and they can just kind of slow things down a bit. They can help you process and I wouldn't say like overly encourage or maybe be unrealistic, but again, that skill set sets you apart. Absolutely. And you've got a different set of experiences and things that you can impart. But when they lifted the bike up and I was like, wow, is this really going to start? I mean, I'm looking at oil on the ground. It looked pretty bad in my opinion, but no, it just fired. It did not even hesitate. It did not even hesitate. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm good. Let's go. I threw that bag back on there. I mean, my little net was kind of like bust down or whatever, but hey, even my net held on. My little nylon bag had a few holes in it. I mean, I'm like, if my bag can make it, my nylon can make it. Let's go. Like this setup is durable. Okay. Like, I mean, windshield didn't even crack. It's got some skid marks on it. Right. But that thing was like, it's on there. And then, the crash bars, I'm like, wow, this is like freaking amazing.
That is really what saved. I'm telling you, I know that's what saved that bike because of how it slid. And you saw like how the cover was all like mangled and ripped, and the foot peg was like
it was like
it was the whole side of the bag was like scraped, like you know what I mean? But it couldn't, like the first time I hit it there, the saddlebag came off and then the tractor trailer ran it over.
See, and that would have been bad. My pants would have ripped, and I had no rips or anything, and my gloves were still intact on the palm. I had abrasion across the top, but I got a blister, right? So I'm like, how did that happen if my gloves never, came off? There's no
from sliding.
The heat,
because it's leather.
Same thing. Now, I didn't have on a leather jacket. I had on like a soft shell, right? And so this piece became exposed here. And I don't know if that's from like sparks or something or what happened, but this is on the right side, but I'm sliding on the left. And we just couldn't figure it out. So we attributed it to heat of some sort, with the palm, and, I don't know how that happened, and nothing on my legs, like my pants did not.
That's because you were hugging that damn tank, like you said. I
was like that gripping that with these thighs, honey, and like, just like on those handlebars, and I was like, no, and I was so tight and sore from up here from like that posture and really holding on. And I don't know how I thought about that. You know, you're saying in the moment, you can kind of think of things, right? And it's just, I stayed on it. And my other question that I had for myself, you know, when you're doing your basic rider course, they teach you to
go straight into it. Like you're supposed to throttle hard and just try to
go over your obstacle, you flip it. They teach you to swerve or quick stop. And I was just thinking, you know, maybe should I have done a quick stop or attempted to do a quick stop? Maybe I should have swerved. But I think
we probably both should have just pulled everything in and like just tried the quick stop. We probably would have tipped over and maybe skid a little bit. But sometimes I feel like that's because then when you land, you try to put your feet down because you know the bike's about to stop. So then the weight of the bike might crack. Oh God, I don't even want to think about like cracking like either your femur, like your shin, like anything, your ankle. Like I think things happened how they were supposed to. We're both definitely trained. We ride a lot. We're out there. We have a lot of experience in like just being on the road, even just that endurance right there. Like you said, the long distance community definitely affords a different skill set. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely appreciative of that. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, just ride your bike. Like, ride your bike every day, whether it's to the store, whether it's to work, whether like the smallest things happen right there where you're at. And like, so you can learn to swerve, you can learn to do this, you can learn like just in slow motion, just down the street from your house, like, you know what I mean, like all of those things. But then when you're out there and it's been a long day or it's been a long time, those little things that you've practiced on a daily basis, like, you know, your bike, you know how it feels, you know how you can tip it, you know what I'm saying, like you really have to become one with your bike. And I'm like, go to the store.
I agree with
just gonna jump 100%. In the car.
It's like you have to learn to manhandle it and don't let the bike control you. The more you get comfortable with it, you know, the more things like this won't necessarily scare you, but you're going to be scanning and looking for, you know, those escape paths or those obstacles, the road furniture. You know, we learned about road furniture in our MSF coaching class, and it was really cool actually to take that and then ride after
put in theory.
You start applying this content. And so I don't know, I was just kind of breaking things down a little bit and, you know, seeing if there's anything else that I would do. But I love motorcycles. Okay, I will not stop riding motorcycles. It is everything to me.
Just put it up.
No.
Put what up? Like,
no,
it makes me so happy.
No, that's life or death.
Feel so good. Like I just know.
Yeah, all the places that you go, the people that you meet, you know, you pray with people, you encourage others too, and you don't know how much you impact somebody else and how much you made a difference by sharing your story, your testimony, and that can be, you know, life-saving for someone else. Absolutely. And so I love the feeling of riding my motorcycle. I love going to see my friends across the country or just even in the state, like, hey, I'm going to go pick up my shirt, but don't mail it to me. I'm going to go ride to you.
I want to come get it.
I love bike
like
night.
GQ. I'm like, don't you put that in the mail? I'm coming to get it.
Yes. And I'm a social butterfly, so I like rallies. I like bike nights. I like the fellowship and meeting and communing with people. So I just totally love it. You know, with CMA, Christian Motorcyclist Association, I get to do that. And it's so fun. I love being the hands and feet. We get utilized to volunteer, you know, we're like free labor pretty much, right?
Absolutely.
At these events. And it's just fun to meet people. You ask them like, what's that bike? Where you come from? You know?
Absolutely.
And we realize that we're more alike than we are different. And it just creates this huge family, you know? And so that's what keeps me going, you know?
And I agree with that. Definitely creates a huge family, and we have so much more in common than we do have different. That's why it makes it so much realistic and attainable to be one with someone. Like, you know what I mean? And they know where you're coming from. They know what it's like to be there. They know, like, right now, like, I'm sad. I'm a little down. Like, I just want to ride. And they understand that because they've been without their bike for a minute, or they know how it feels. And, you know what I mean? But then you have that excitement, like, do I get to pick a new toy? Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like patience, Grasshopper.
Let me tell you something.
And let yourself, like, heal.
I
because
know.
we're really still not healed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the next day, all of this was tense because, like you said, you're holding on for dear life, and it's just like, and everything's just tight, and then the impact is like, bam, and then like we slam to the ground, to the concrete. Like we hit the concrete at 60 miles, 60. When I checked my Life 360, it was 83 miles an hour. And it's just like, that's a big.
You know what I mean?
It's just like,
and your bike is what, over 1,000 pounds, so it's like you're this torpedo. You know, you've got a bomb in between your legs, pretty much, right? You've got your speed.
So many things could have happened. Those sparks and the gas, like,
I was so concerned. I was like, I just didn't want to catch on fire.
That's what I'm saying. You know, you had a dent in your tank, so gas could have easily leaked. And the sparks, like you said, you just see sparks, and now you're scared. Like, I saw sparks, but like my tank didn't do that, but it still tipped over. So many things could have happened, and they didn't. So that's what I'm
like
grateful for.
Glad the gas line didn't sever, and then it hit one of those sparks, and then boom. You know,
because
like,
people have been sitting in traffic and they rev their horn and the bike catch on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like little crazy twerky stuff like that. And we hit a whole deer, slid safe in the home.
Safe in the home, baby.
Got up, walked away,
boom,
got back on the bike and rode off. As if nothing happened. So that's a blessing in and of itself. But I thank you so much for sharing your story and your pictures and your experience. And again, like, this is definitely going to hopefully help and save someone else in the future. Like, to know, like, maybe a better time for them to ride if they're nervous about those different times and things. Definitely invest in their horns, like their whistles, their horns. They're at Love's, they're at Lowe's, they're at Walmart. It's a 2-pack and they're like $6.99. $5.99. And
wear your gear, people. Wear your gear.
Wear your gear. I had leather gloves on. She had leather gloves on. Like, you know what I mean? Because and still,
helmet.
Yes, definitely helmet. And it's just like,
you know, boots.
Definitely boots. Yeah, like my boots probably definitely like helped, which is like, and my helmet, because again I had it open. This whole side is scraped. Like, it was just down the highway, like it's great. But imagine if I didn't have that on, like, all this would be road rash and just probably gone. And it's
Can I do something? Can I pray?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. All right, dear Heavenly Father, I am so thankful for Piper and Motorcycle Mondays. She brings a lot to the motorcycling community, and we want to pray for safety for her, our motorcycling family. We want to pray for healing for both of us. We want to pray for mechanical resolution on the machines that we greatly enjoy out on the road. There are so many people that we have got to meet, Lord. And for whatever reason, you've put them in our path, and we are just so blessed by those relationships and those connections. And, you know, it's because of you we give glory, and because of motorcycles that we're able to reach others that, you know, may need something, whatever that is. And I just ask for resolution. I ask for patience. I ask for a continued hedge of protection around her, our motorcycling brothers and sisters, and that we take time to, and me, and we take time to get to know each other out on the road. Let's connect with one another and enjoy this beautiful scenery that you've given to us and that we've fallen so in love with. And I just pray all these things in your heavenly name. Amen.
Amen. Yes. That was, wow, that was so good. That was, they're gonna
love you.
I love it. I appreciate you so much. And yes, this community has definitely brought amazing people our way, and like we just,
it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's absolutely
He's gonna
beautiful.
Send more people our way, right?
Every day, and he's gonna send us, like you said, stable machinery, like, you know what I mean? It's not gonna like break or falter, or it's gonna protect us. Like, even though like we didn't have roofs and doors and things, like our bike still took the brunt of the impact and things, like, because can you imagine being thrown off of it or being flipped over, run over by it? Like, there's so many things could have happened, and he protected. Jesus was a fence that day.
Yes, and you showed up. You were able to, you know, be a part of the history breaking moment. You were able to get home. You were able to accomplish the rest of your ride goals.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, who walks away and says that? Like, that's it's a miracle. Saying. It's a straight up thank you, Lord. Like, it really is.
Like, every day I just be like, you really like me, huh? Like, I love you, man. Like, I love you. I thank you so much. Like, and just be truly grateful, because everybody doesn't. I thought about that.
Cars, you know, a lot of cars don't get that opportunity.
They don't. They leave out and they don't make it home. Like, they don't get back,
or they don't go back the same.
Or they don't go back the same. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
it's beautiful.
Grateful. Like, definitely grateful.
Yeah. I love you, sis. Like, you're awesome.
You're awesome. All your ministry that you do while you're riding. Like,
I feel like I need a deer tattoo now. Like, I need a deer.
Listen, I need some, and it needs to be like I want it to be what is it? Graceful. I want it to be like nice, like little, or maybe some antlers and a heart. Like, you know what I mean? Like make the heart and the antlers come out that way. But I'm gonna look that up. Like, if we can get it like on our throttle hand or something, like right there, something.
Yeah, like a flash tattoo or something. Dear one, you know, Rachel, girl.
I don't want to keep adding to it. I'm done. 1, 2, 3, third time's a charm.
We are done, Lord. Tell them, hey, y'all better watch out if y'all get in our way. It's over.
Everybody else needs a turn. No, they don't need a turn, but
y'all better tell all your little dear family. Send each other a text.
I'm telling you, we were out there so long. I just knew they were gonna come back and get me. Like, there she go, was her. She did it. She did it. And they was gonna all come.
She took out Fred. Where's Sarah? Sarah's been missing. Oh, Sarah's been shot.
Sarah got shot. Like, so did he have to shoot like one time and she died, or it was?
Yeah, he just. I imagine that he did like maybe a point blank type of. But I mean, I heard it, you know, down the road. He went up there after we got the bike going, and he went to go check on her, and she was still alive. So that's sad.
I wonder if they have to report that. Like, when you use ammo, do you have to report, like,
he made a police report, so it's in the police report. I didn't get cited. Police report just, you know, it says he even had like a little picture on there that shows the deers like crossing the road, and the little motorcycle went.
And then that makes me think about the engineers. You know how, like, when you're riding and the deer sign is there, like, deer for the next 5 miles?
Yeah.
Did you see a sign where you were?
Ooh.
And I wonder, will they put one there now? Because you said 150 fatalities are on that road because of deer. Like, so I wonder, in that place, will now a deer sign go, like,
maybe in that spot? I don't remember if there was or wasn't. But I do remember, I was just thinking to myself, it's not about if, it's when, and then boom, there she is. And I'm like, oh my God. And it happened right then and there. In that very moment, I said, it's not about if, it's when. And I was, you know, thinking about deer along the way, and then there she appeared. Boom.
So do you think you brought it to fruition?
No, I don't think I brought it to fruition. I think it's just, they're just there.
They are just there. But it's just crazy. Like, you think about it,
it's in that moment I thought about it, and I'm like,
speaking of the devil, and it's just like there, like, you know, when you talk somebody up or you talk something up, and it's just like,
you know,
talk it up. Because I didn't think about it, dear. I didn't think about it at all. But what I did keep thinking about is, am I gonna mess this bike up? Like, is it what's like? And that was like,
about that.
But it wasn't in the front of my mind. It was like,
oh, as soon as I said no, and then I heard that crash, I was like, oh no, I done messed my bike up. But before I actually came in contact with her, I had thought that thought, and I was looking off at the sunset, and then I brought my eyes back to the road, and just in that split second there, yeah. So I tried my best to, you know, avoid her and minimize the incident. Yeah.
And it's so crazy, like you said, she was walking.
Yep.
And he kept going. But because, like you said, deer in headlights, so as you
she looked closer, right at me.
And you were honking your horn, so she was probably like, what? You know what I mean? And she just stopped.
She stopped right there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go.
And then her little tail is so fluffy, and it's only like this big, and it just be sitting there.
She was beautiful. I mean, just the biggest doe I've ever seen up close, you know, and they're beautiful animals.
He had a very pretty color too, but he was a fatty fat. I'm telling you, as I'm coming and I'm looking over that
visor.
Yeah, and I was like, what you going to do? I was like, damn! I was just sitting. And he was just, he was so big, like in fat, like a cow. Like that's how like girthy.
Really are big, huh?
It was big. But the first one was like a little baby, like it was a little one, like, you know what I mean? And that totaled the bike. Then the other one, like I said, it was like hopping, moving, and I like nipped it, and and I was like, and I didn't even think about it anymore. I was just like sometimes I'm like, did that happen? Because you're out there like a long time, like you're in like a daze, like you know what I mean? Like, and so you feel things, but it's just like, I was like, oh, and then like it kind of like snaps you out of like that comfortable type thing. You're like,
yes, I was like, really comfortable.
I was too
just like
comfortable.
Boom, you know, just like zooming along, and I look over and come back to the road, but you know, I'm sure you have better lights on your bike than what I do. So like, I don't have the Denali's or anything that sees like super crazy far.
Everything is stock on that bike.
Yeah.
Except the engine.
The only thing that I have, it was the headlights, the running lights. I didn't have the bright light on. But yeah, I just felt like she was just out of view of those lights, you know, from my distance at that time. And then you get close enough, and then it's
because
like, there they are.
She had to be, because how else did she get from the left lane into your lane? So as you were coming, you're right, like she had to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or even if she was like walking as you're like, your lights are shining, and as you're coming closer, now she gets bigger and she's more visible. But like Sonny and David Bell, like he puts all the lights on, and he said that he would put them on, like just, you know, contact to make an appointment. I just have to order them because like when he went up and down the street, like to show, I was like,
a world of difference, right?
Like up the whole highway. And not to say like, I mean, and maybe we'll be able to see it a little bit more, and then we can just like do like the stop, like, you know what I'm saying? But like,
I think it's worth it. You know, if it's gonna improve your visibility to others, yeah, I think it's definitely worth it for sure. But
so
I appreciate you.
Me too. I love you so much.
I love you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. So there are 2 parts. This is part 2. I probably can't merge them together, but you definitely have to watch like the first one and the second one. Like the first one, we got into the deer instances. So just a quick recap. On my way to Tulsa, I hit a deer. On her way away from Tulsa, she hit a deer. So it's 2 ladies, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and 2 different deer. Like how
Midwest deer, East Coast deer.
Yeah. Well, Ohio, they kind of call
Midwest-ish.
Because it's like Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. Maybe that's the beginning of it. You know what I mean? And Ohio's the Buckeye state.
Woo! Go Buckeyes.
That's I should have probably like got out of that quicker and not like stayed playing in there. Like I should have knew.
You should have known, Piper.
I should have known.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Monday. Motorcycle Monday, 7 o'clock quiz time. We were working on IBA stuff, so that's why we were a little bit late today.
Yes.
But I'm excited about that. So I think I just got an email. I'm gonna look at it and then I'm gonna tell you.
You're so cute.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, sister.
Thank
I will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Did you respect the heart?
I did.